That's the new property they added, the class. Continuing. I'm gonna jump some of this and go straight to one of the stuff that I saved here. There is a discussion going on here. Like, yeah, the comment I had was was the last one. The comment I added there about, like, they're discussing. Hey, Minjar, welcome back. They're discussing deprecating URI parse, and there are multiple options like new, dissect, or parse string from string. I just said I prefer to keep parse, but like this guy actually said here, Wojtek said, parse strict like this with new option. But this one is not, this is an issue that the contribution you can give is basically that you can discuss with people what you prefer, like, but it's not something, how can I say, it's not something that you could work on actually. So this one is something that I could work on, like do path autocompletion on IX. So basically the idea would be that if you do on IX, you do something like, let me just cue this. Let me go to the elixir repo. Oh, this actually is under elixir core. So the idea would be that if you run ix and you start typing something like dot slash and you hit tab, it will complete to the list of files that you have on your current relative directory on this, I guess it's path.cwd or something like that. Current dir, no, file pwd, I guess, right? Wildcard root name join expand, basically. Like, it will show all files that are on the same dir that you're running ix, basically. So you could hit tab like you do for functions, but from inside a string, and it would autocomplete to files if you started the string with slash or dot, right? So I said Joseph Aline knew that F. Hunlef actually did this on his toolshed library, like this guy, and he actually implemented it right. Where is it? I did click on the link, but it didn't went there. He did implement somewhere here. Let me go back there. Yeah, actually. So yeah, this is the expand handle out complete calls. This function handle out completion, and if it's not that, if that's not appropriate, it delegates to ix autocomplete, right? So basically, the idea here is that toolshed autocomplete will try to expand the expression by matching it, like if it's the string fragment returns an empty list, it just goes back to the ix autocomplete, and if not, the fragment it goes to string fragment cl. Cl stands for Charlie's, just so you know. It gets the list, it gets like basically a string, gets the possible paths, and then it expands the path, right? Like, of all the possible possible paths. Like he just show all the list of possible paths on the IX ring. Basically, for this guy here, I say, hey, F1, did you do this already? If not, let me know and I can give it a try. So he said thank you 3 times, and every time I got started, something has interrupted my progress. So please give it a try. If the 2-chat code helps at all, feel free to copy as much or as little as you want. So love for him. I'm gonna open this PR. So I guess this would be the biggest PR I have done to Elixir, because it is going to introduce a lot of functions, like a lot of lines, around 195 lines. Pretty cool. It's been a while also that I don't contribute to Elixir that much, the Elixir core, so I might need to update myself on how to contribute to that library with some checking the README. They always put some pretty cool stuff on README. We welcome everyone to contribute. To do so, there are a few things you need to know about the code. First, Elixir code is divided in applications inside the lib folder, alright? This remember, there's Elixir, EX, XUnit, IX, Logger, Mix. So you can run tests to make tests, and you can also run a specific framework like make test Elixir. So if you just change something in the Elixir standard library, you can run only that portion through make test standard library. Right, cool. And if you're changing just one file, you can choose to compile and run tests only for that particular file for fast development cycles, like this. Cool, cool. So basically, on Elixir, let me just update my upstream, like update my origin with the upstream. Yeah, git fetch upstream. This way I get all the code that was added to the main Elixir repo, and then I git rebase upstream master. This way I update my master to be equals Elixir lang master, and then I push this, then I check out a new branch for it called path autocompletion. All right, so let's contribute to Elixir. Let's open Vim. The actual thing I'm going to change is the IX, right? So there is inside of lib, there is probably IX here. So the file should be inside this directory. There is probably a file named IX autocomplete, and here it is. So what I want to actually do is to include this logic right inside here. Minjar just said here, like he's a personal friend of mine, by the way, like that's why he was moderator there. He just said it went down for him, but yeah, it looks like it's up actually, Minjar. It's probably your internet. You got back. Cool. So so back here, let me just stop for a while and actually send some messages to friends. Maybe they are interested on something I am talking today, right? Oh, is this good enough, WinJar, the zoom on my code. Actually, let me check here. Is that better? All right. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Let me share. All right. So continuing, I'm going to put the autocompletion logic that funleft implemented on here in there. So first things first, let's see the string fragment function. Like basically what he does here is to actually check the expression that's sent. Probably this here gets the expression that you typed so far, right? Like in here, when you open IX, like this, you type so far like PA, and when you hit tab, this function here, this function expand, this function expand here gets called, right? So, and then this function actually tries to expand, if there's nothing, it tries to expand variable or import, and if there is something, it gets through a list of like expand custom, expand dot, expand Erlang modules, expand expressions. Like if it starts with two columns, it expand Erlang modules. It starts with dot, it calls expand dot, and so on and so on. So I guess I have to add another condition here to actually match to something close to what he's doing. Oops, that's not the, here I'm on Safari. To actually match with what he's doing here, like so on string fragment, this function actually probably just tells me, hey, here's the last couple of characters that if it's a string, it will return the couple of characters that since the beginning of the string, and if it's not a string, it's just returning this empty list, right? So maybe I'm going to start by actually doing this whole thing. Yeah, it's going to expand local paths. Basically, it's going. The idea there is like if you do something like this and you hit tab, it's going to expand by like showing out the list of dirs and directories and files inside of your local path. Or if you do like this, it's going to list all the directories on the root of your PC. So it's pretty cool, right? Or if you do like, probably it will be good also to do, if you do like this, you're going to expand to your local machine, your user directory, right? Your home. So yeah, this, I'm going to copy this code there, and actually get helper. I'm going to put it in the end. I don't need the spec and the doc because they're private. Let me just expand a little bit here. All right, that's why he doesn't. All right. Um, so let's just understand this code, right? This function fragments. So you receive an expression and it calls the other string fragment, sending possible string, expression, and an empty list. So possible string, it's going to match, not going to match, not going to match, not going to match. It's going to match here in the end, right? Possible string. If it's possible string and it's empty, it returns empty, right? But if it's possible string and it starts with the quote and a slash, then it returns a quote and slash. If it starts with the open, don't trigger in a string interpolation. All right. If it starts with that, like actually with this two, but that's strange. It's reversed. Here it's reversed, but here it's not. Interesting. Maybe that's a bug. Right. Not sure. I have to test that once. I'm not sure even if I'm going to be able to actually finish this today. But anyways, let's rename it to path fragment, right? Path fragment. Let's do it like this. To path G. Here also. Assume not path. Assume path. Yeah, I guess let's start by copying what he has and check how it actually works, right? So string is, it checks string fragment. If it's empty, it goes back to what's been done by IX. Then here on the conditions, that's maybe what I have to check here. Like basically, maybe get helper actually. Get helper. What is this? Helper rest. And helper BT. What is this? Strange. Not sure what the helper actually means there, but anyways, what I can check here is path fragment expression. If it's equal an empty list, it should continue. So if it's different than an empty list, then the problem here is that I want to actually set this path fragment here to path. Let's optimize it afterwards, right? If path is not an empty list, then I actually expand path, right? And expand path actually does this expression path. Yeah, expand path then actually does that. Path P expand expand path, path2, oops, path, fragment possible paths. All right, toString is a function from kernel. Find possible paths should be implemented, and this is another definition of expand paths. All right, find possible paths should be in here. ls prefix should be in here too. Here, yeah. I'm copying the code bit by bit and setting as private, and ls prefix is here. You're GOG to add a function like that. Not sure what GOG means. ls prefix. All right. ls prefix. Then this would find the possible paths, and it would return there. And then the expand path with the other commands is here, right? Expressions, expansions, possible paths, path fragment. All right, to Charlie's completion part. Completion part. And common prefix I do have to copy too. All right, and following remsh. Not sure to shed out to complete. All right, this remsh here is basically what's implemented here. So this is what provides the helper function that is injected when you hit tab, you know. So I don't need to actually do this rem sh here, because that's done already by the ix. And set expand function. That will be manual registration. Zoom in my browser. Is that enough? Yeah, I'm going to add a function like that, yeah, basically. And yeah, I guess I'm good. I'm just have to add the completion part function here for the completion, and actually rename the expand path here to private function too, right? All right. So let me call it path. Let's leave it like that. So cool. The IX that I was accessing was my elixir, the IX installed with my elixir. to actually access the IX that's going to have this code, I have to access it on by another way with this like bin slash ix here, but this one doesn't have everything I have right now. Oh, right. I am going to actually remove the ticks idea. No such file directory. Escripts ticks. Yeah, because actually this ticks is a tool. It's a very nice tool actually, but it's getting me trouble every time I IX CSS. It's getting me trouble every time I actually try to use it. So ticks minjar is this tool here. No, it's not something related to Texas. Let me just github.com ticks this doahu. Basically, it's a way to use Elixir as a scripting language across my system. Basically, to use you do this to install this ticks command, and then you, like, if you have ASDVM, you're gonna have like problems. Like that's why what I do. That's what I do. I use ASDF, and that's why it's always a problem. Like every time I switch Elixir version, it switches my TEEX configuration, and like the best way I can imagine is to actually disable it. But basically, TEEX allow you to set like to set some default stuff like this one, text workspace create test, and then it creates like this test workspace for you, and you can then from inside that you can like install libs and use these libs on scripts without actually having these mixed projects, right? But why am I disconfiguring it? Basically because I don't need it anymore. Because on Elixir 1.12, which is this one that I'm actually working with right now, like on master, right? They are gonna release this new task here. What's probably on Elixir Lang releases. What is the releases button here? Yeah, it's like something to use Elixir, like it's you write Elixir scripts, and you can actually install libraries to use with these scripts, which is quite difficult nowadays because for that you'd either have to create this, like most people actually create a temporary mix project, configure it with the libraries, run mix steps get to actually get the libraries to actually be able to use it. But now on 1.12, there's going to be this mix install that you can like basically just call mix install JSON. And then like you put this on the beginning of your file, and it doesn't matter where your file is. And this mix install here is going to download these dependencies and kind of create this temporary mix project and run this script on that context, you know. So it does all the heavy lifting that you had to do before. It does automatically for you, and then you if you want, you can like send this to someone else, like someone else totally that doesn't have even JSON downloaded on any mix project, and this will run accordingly, even though if you are using JSON code, like the code from this JSON library. So it's pretty cool that they are doing this on the next release. So Elixir is getting better for like as a scripting language too. Like you can write quick scripts to execute. Continuing the completion stuff. So what I have to do basically is run the make command. I just don't remember compile, probably compile. Yeah, I'm going to run actually like, oops, test elixir, for example, test as formatted. So, all right, I have to clean and then compile, I guess. Clean, which is going to remove everything, and then compile. All right, make, oops, let me just do it right here. Make clean, make compile. And then now if I go there and execute, like now after recompiling everything there, which might take a while, is there a compile ix, for example, make file, compile underline ix, no, compile is going to compile everything. Compile here, Erlang app elixir. IX. Maybe name of, no, IX. docs.ix, build man, for manual, check reproducible. All right, prefix from dir undefined function on autocomplete, probably introduced by me. Prefix from dir. Yeah, there's probably a prefix from dir here. Didn't copy that one. Yeah, that one is actually compiling Elixir, the language, as a whole. Like it's compiling multiple things that when you run the make compile inside this developer, this Elixir, inside the Elixir repository, you're gonna compile the binaries elixir C, which is the compiler. You're gonna compile also ix, mix, EEX, a lot of stuff, right? So that's what this make compile task does. Prefix from dir, make compile. All right, IEX is generated. So if I do this IEX, here I'm opening the IEX, the local IEX that I just generated by running make compile. And you can see that because you see here 1.13 dev, this means I'm using the next version, is not even the last RC that got released, right? So let's test .tab, and it worked. It works pretty well actually. If I hit tab with just the quotes, it doesn't show up, but if I hit tab with the dot, it starts to show up. Yeah, and it auto completes to the formatter here. So if I run here expand, yeah, that's a first working version of it. One thing that I wanted to test is something like this. Like there was one of the codes there was showing like this, and yeah, it works. It's when you start, like when you show, when you put stuff inside here, it starts actually it falls back to the IEX. So yeah, it's working. So you have a question, Minjar. Cool. Go on. Meanwhile, I'm gonna check my actual code, right? I guess it's just me and you today, Minjar. What is your actual workflow on projects? I mean, you fork the project. Yeah, right. Like when you want to contribute to a new project. Yeah, first things first, I would say don't fork the project until you actually have like, yeah, I have this issue here and I want to fix this issue for the toolshed. All right, then you go there, go to the code here, you fork the project. Fork the project here to your personal account or whatever. And then you basically, it's going to look something like this. Let me go straight to it here. What's the name? Elixir. So this is my forked project from Elixir Lang Elixir. And you go here, clone the project on your machine, and basically do what I did in the beginning, like just read the contributing section of it, like how to contribute. Normally they have like very good explanations of how to start up with the project. Like this one have good explanations, like by just looking at it I know it's using a makefile to actually test stuff. And yeah, you just go on trying to do whatever you can. So when recompiling, including alarm modules may compile, like there's lots of actual, and there's even examples of like how to send a pull request, right? So in here there's like an example of a pull request that was good in their opinion, you know. So then yeah, basically that's it. When you do your work, write tests to it if any test is actually needed, right? And I guess once you have the actual work finished, you open the PR to the library, and that's it. So what I wanted to do actually is to check this implementation, this fhunlefs implementation, if I couldn't actually optimize. Not optimize in the sense that's going to make it faster, because I don't think people actually mind that it gets a bit slow on IX sometimes. Optimize in the sense that's more readable, or I don't know, like maybe less code to actually does the same, you know. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to revise first the first things first, the function that actually checks if this is an actual path, but actually I'm going to commit my changes so far. and actually test. Yeah, autocomplete test. Right. So basically path, oops, path completion and inside strings. Yeah, that's it. Assert, expand. Equals. Not sure how it returns, but as I know how it, as I know it actually works because I copied. Basically, I just copied fHunless work. That's a nice way to actually check. And to actually run these tests, there's like this. You can compile only the thing you actually changed. I didn't change anything, but you can run bin elixir lib iex test blah blah blah. So bin elixir is going to use the actual elixir that I compiled to run this test, right? Bin elixir lib iex test test iex autocomplete test. It's gonna fail because right here there's a lot of stuff being returned. All right, so as this is ran from inside. Maybe I should create this temporary repository. I think there's an annotation on next unit for temp repo, like hex docs pmx unit temp clean up temp directory temp dir here, temp dir. So here you can create like this tag temp dir, right? And it's gonna actually create a temporary directory inside the actual when running this tag. And I can, for example, create a new file inside the actual temp dir here. And maybe how to cd into a file. Hex docs. It's almost 4 o'clock. Elixir. cd. File cd. Yeah. File cd. File.cd dir. This is going to change the current directory to this directory, right? And then what else? What else? I want to create a file. Open, read, touch. All right, touch should be enough. File, touch. and I should just give it a path. The directory path.join. The path is new file, and then in here this should return this new file that I just touched. Like the touch should create the file, so yeah, here, as you can see, this is what this returns, right? And now for this one is it's a little bit more complex because it actually depends on your file system. All right, for me, for example, as I know macOS, there's the var, library, applications, but if I run this on Windows, those are not the directories on my root, right? So, and I don't think it's safe to actually... Yeah, right, Siri, thank you. It's the second time she actually just interrupts me, like the second live. All right, maybe here then I actually shouldn't mind what's in the last value here. Oh, let me just actually say file1, then create the file2 here, file1, and actually here it's going to return an empty list and the list of lists. Right, file2, file1. Yeah, ideally I would test these two, like to actually check if yeah, I don't need to delete it because this tag actually does all the work for you. Pretty cool, right? Like you just put this, let me show you again, temp dir tag. Here. Oh no, actually here. Here. So there's like this xunit automatically creates a temporary directory for tests tagged with tempdir and puts the path to that directory into the test context. So the directory is removed before being created to ensure we start with a blank slate, right? It doesn't matter like if it's left there, it's a tempdir, right? It's not going to get committed anyway. So it creates the tempdir inside like temp, the name of the module, the description of the test, and then the my path, which I can actually put my path, like I could set like tempdir something, then it would create a something directory inside of this tempdir, but I don't mind because I get the dir and that's it, right? So you mark this test as tempdir, and before starting the test it deletes the tempdir that already exists, if any, and then create a new one, you know. So it also can be set as module tag or describe tag, right? Because you can set like a tag for the whole module, and then it will create a tempdir for every single test, right? On the case, right? I guess here the thing I could check, it's maybe the temp. I don't like this idea actually. Yeah, maybe for this expand here, what I could check is the list, assert list length of the list is bigger than 1. I don't know, because I expect that even on Windows there's gonna be more than one directory on the main the root, right? So yeah, actually I can match for that. This this actually checks if this is a way to use pattern match to check if the list is not empty. Like if the list exists and it's not empty, this is going to match. Just to give you an example, list equals like empty list equals empty list, list equals 1, right? So if you want to match for empty list, you just match for empty, and if it's not empty, it's going to fail, right? And if you want to match for a list that is not empty, you can do something like this, right? And it matched, but it will not match for empty lists. Oh, right, yeah, of course. I'm not considering that you are listening live to everything I say right here. But anyway, yeah, so empty lists here do not match to this. And you can't do something like this, because yeah, this one matched because it's a list with only one element. But if it's a list with 2 elements like this, it's not going to match, because this represents a list with 1 element too. This actually works because it's a list with head and tail, and the only list that does not have head and tail is an empty list, you know. So that's why the empty list does not match, but every other list matches. In this case, when the list is only 1 element, the head is going to be the only element that it has, and the tail is going to be an empty list. So if you have any other question, just go on. But I actually have to make sure to end my live soon, because I have to take my kid at school. All right. But anyways, I guess this is basically what we have to do. Let me just add tag. Let me just see if there is any other test that actually use the temp dir, because as you see here, the temp dir is not git ignored, so maybe there is other one. Yeah, and they use pretty much like as the same as I do. Path mkdir. Value right, path 1. Yeah, I can actually do this. I don't need to actually write. Touching is okay. So file open. Yeah, they try to, and then they remove the file, but the dir stays there. They just don't commit it. Not sure why, but what I can do though is to actually ignore, global git ignore. So actually just consider all temp folders for all. So if I do make here and I go back to elixir, ta-da, it's ignored. Cool, it worked. Not sure if you know what I just did, but basically there's a way to configure a global git ignore for all your projects. You just have to create a .git ignore on your home folder, so that way everything that's on this git ignore is going to get ignored on all your projects, right? So I just added temp as a global git ignore, and that's why it's going to get ignored on this project, even though it's not on this project specific git ignore. And I'm going to add path autocompletions, for IX. We call IX path autocompletion for strings. Supporting path autocompletions. Actually, I'm going to put this on the pull request. And I'm going to push to origin. Hey Minjar, push to origin, path autocompletion. And then here I'm going to open the pull request to Elixir core and actually mention the issue 10888. This should close hashtag 10888. This closes. Path autocompletion on strings that start with dot or slash. And that's it. All right. Thanks, F100. This here is a basic copy of what you have on your to-shed project. It's basically a copy. So yeah, this is it. This is the pull request. Cool, I guess that's it for today, because I have to finish before 4 p.m. my time, right? So thank you for listening, Minjar. And yeah, hopefully the next lives we'll get more people watching, but anyways, I don't mind. Like, the idea is just to actually just film everything I'm doing on my personal projects and open source contributions. Cool, guys. So see you around.